All right. Hey, good evening, guys. How's it going? Happy Monday. Coming at you live again for chapter 2 of our 10X rule. We've been diving into this book and really just getting a collective understanding as the Active Nutrition Group. We're family. We grow in business. We grow in life together. We're real close. So this is just one of the many facets of things that we do to help ourselves grow personally and professionally. So we're digging into this as part of our personal development, and we're just kind of sharing experiences and hoping that, you gain some value out of this. So chapter 1, we went over what it is. So the 10X rule is simply just, anything that you set your mind out to go after, you're just doing 10 times the amount of action, effort in order to achieve that goal that you set out to do. Now in chapter 2, we're going to be going over why the 10X rule is vital and how that can benefit you and help you in, anything that you're striving to do. So we're going to just run it down line. So everybody just go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm Austin. So you guys will see me on my feed. And Joy, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joy. I'm from the Philippines.
Awesome. Welcome from the Philippines. Hey, Ryan.
Yes. Hi, Ryan here.
Yeah. What's up, Ryan? Kalihi represent. All right, Wayne.
Hi guys, Wayne. I am from island of Oahu. I live in Hawaii.
Yeah. How's it out?
Everybody, glad to be here. Thanks for hosting, Austin. Evan Rhodes.
Anytime. I'm Austin from Hawaii. I introduced myself at the beginning. And Callie, you're up.
Aloha, I'm Kali. I am originally from Oahu, Hawaii, now living out in California.
And then we also have Bree on the line. Hi, Bree. All right, we're going to get rocking and rolling. So, chapter 2, why the 10X rule is vital. So just some summary notes. We're going to do it a little bit differently than we did last year. I'll kind of run through the summary, and then we're just going to freewheel it and open the floor. We're just going to talk story. That way it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more conversational, a little less interviewee. So essentially what they talk about in chapter 2 is on your journey towards success with whatever it is that you're chasing after in life. You could be chasing after a school degree, you could be starting up a new business and, just figuring out what it's going to take for you to make that business successful. Just understand that in anything that you chase after, it's expected that you're going to run into some obstacles, some roadblocks, a little bit of adversity along the way. You may find that there's people that are, not necessarily believing in what you're doing, or they have some opinion of you, which makes you feel like you have a weight on your shoulder. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve this goal. But in order to compensate for that, everything that the 10X rule talks about is, just getting into action, really just putting forth your best effort and exceeding that, because it's like how you hear in the boxing world, Mike Tyson talks about, or it's either Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they talk about like, hey, I don't start counting my push-ups until it starts hurting. So they wait until they hit a breaking point and then they start counting, which is essentially what you'd be doing with the 10X rule, right? So 10 times the effort. And basically what that does is that guarantees that you're either going to hit your benchmark or you're going to hit way above it. And, what happens is we're going to talk about when you miss your targets, what happens, what kind of mistakes are typically made, what kind of thought processes and psychological warfares we tend to encounter with ourselves, and what we can do to get through that. And then we also talk about, what happens when people start lowering the bar on themselves. Like what does that do to them? And then we talk about, instead of blaming, our current failures on excuses such as, market's not ready, I'm not ready, economy's bad, my target's unrealistic, maybe you bit off more than you can chew. You just realize that we probably haven't correctly, addressed like what it's really going to take for us to get there. We went, hey, I set out for this goal, just going split second decision. I've done it countless occasions. Split second decision, I'm going for this. Yeah, I think I just want to go for this, without really factoring in what it's going to take to get there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then when we talk about setting your goals, just increase it by 10. So that being said, that's like a quick summary of what I got out of the chapter. We're going to open this up for conversation. So I guess one of the questions that I would have, let's go right from the top. What do you define as success? And what do you define your level of effort be? Anybody go ahead and take that one.
So for me, at my age, so I'm 53, and success is kind of, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, Joy's making like the volume thing, the old analog style. But if I'm good, okay, yeah. So at my age, success has kind of evolved. It used to be about material things. It used to be about a lot of material things and money and stuff like that. And of course that matters now. But now it's more about like obtaining as much freedom as I possibly can have. And then on top of that, what is my life the end result gonna be about? Like how many people can I possibly help, which leads to legacy. And so for me, that's what success is now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else on success?
Yep. So for me, being that I'm the young 28 around here, I used to like view success as like going to college, getting the degree, getting high up in the corporate level of whatever business I was to get into, and then owning a house, you know, like stuff like that. For now, for me now, it's actually like happiness and being able to spend time with the people I want to, freedom. To add to what Evan said is leaving a legacy. When I leave this world, like I want people, like I want to live on and like positively influencing my legacy and the people I left.
That's awesome. That's powerful.
Awesome, Tom.
All right, go ahead. Who's up next?
For me, success is really to estimate the time, money, energy, and then effort. Because if we don't have that, we cannot reach the success, you know. So yeah.
The chicken agrees.
Oh yeah.
Why, Lorna?
Yeah,
That's the Amakua right there.
Yes.
they're calling you.
That's awesome. Right on, Joe. How about you, Ryan? What is success to you, brother?
For me, success really now, I mean, ever since I joined Herbalife, is just trying to get my mindset to be on the right place. Because if you don't have the right mindset, you're not gonna get there. And just being in a different like environment with you guys that's how I'm gonna get there. I know from my past before it's not gonna get me there, but now changing how I live and how my health and everything alone is hopefully that's will strive me to just do better from now on and don't ever go back to that dark side ever again. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's solid, Ryan, man. Real nice. How about you, Wayne?
Yeah, so I like all you guys answered, and Kari, yeah, happiness, definitely. So I never dreamt of money. So I never dreamt about being rich, ever. But I did dream about being famous, believe it or not. I know money comes with that though. But as I was like writing songs for my band, I wanted to win the Grammy. I wanted to be not number 2. I wanted to win number 1. I wanted the Grammy. You know, not the Hawaiian one. I wanted the all around. You know, so I was shooting pretty big. So I don't know, like right now, yeah, I'm happy where I'm at right now. So I believe I had that 10x factor when I was going for that. That was my dream, you know, going to be a famous musician. Yeah, so it didn't happen because I had alcoholic problem. But that's another thing where that to me is success, where I took care of that. I sought help. I listened to people that could help me, you know, like the treatment center, my pastor, and everybody that my AA friends, you know, and my sponsor. So I followed the direction. I wanted to not only be sober, but I wanted to be happy being sober. So that was my goal.
That's
Awesome,
awesome.
man. A solid, man. Hey, you know, that's a major success in itself to overcome something like that. So, you know, seriously, congrats to you on that, man. Love it.
For sure.
So I love everything that I hear there. We're all kind of speaking the same thing. You know, for me, success is always, growing up, success was always defined to me. And how I always took it in understanding was you shoot for the top all the time. You learn to be a follower before you become a leader, but you're always aiming for that top. You know, and there's nothing less than that, because that is the pinnacle of whatever it is that you're going for. So, you know, yes, I understood, like how Wayne was saying, you understand that, like, when you chase after these realities, money does end up becoming a factor in the equation. You know, and what I found was, yeah, at the beginning, money hungry, just like many starting out, trying to get out there, make a name for themselves, trying to establish family, establish some real strong foundations, but then find over time that making a difference, and like how Evan and like how Kawi said, leaving a legacy and just an impact of what you're remembered for, the things that you did and how you really helped someone out. You know, that really ends up becoming more of what I chase after in terms of success now. It's something that pulls me and it drives me to go, you know what, I really want to excel at whatever it is that I'm doing, because in some way, shape, or form, I'm in service to somebody else and I'm helping them out, which makes me happy, which is something that we all talked about, wanting to find happiness in our own way. And that's just incredible. So all of that being said, you know, how does that tie into why the 10X rule becomes vital? So in anything that we're going after, and jump in wherever, guys, because, you know, I think discussion ends up becoming, you know, everybody's at like a different stage in their pursuit of happiness and their pursuit of contentment. Some people are like, you know, they're looking up like, how the hell am I ever gonna get up there? You know, what do I got to do to get there? I just know that I want it. And some people are unconsciously applying, you know, some 10x factor, some multiple factor of the level of effort that they're putting in. There's some that are consciously aware and they're like, I know I'm chasing after something. I'm not content where I'm at. I have to pursue excellence. And then we have, yeah.
There's people out there that are saying, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care if I achieve anything. You know,
yeah.
like I am who I am, and that's it. You know, if you don't like it, then hey, whatever. You know, there's people out there that, and that's fine. I was that guy. I didn't have the confidence to even dream about anything, really, but I knew I wasn't a loser. You know, so there's people, like he said, in the whole spectrum of it, man, that could be listening to this, and so like the 10x is for like what I got of the thing here is like when I reread the chapter, it was really about like even going before like this, like what, you know, the 10x, right? It's like, okay, what's the target? Like, what's your next target, whatever that may be? And then it's like, okay, if you have a target, then you can start applying some 10x or 5x or 0.5x or whatever. But confidence comes with achievement, I feel. And so like little achievements and stuff, then it's like, okay, I get a little bit more confidence and I can go a little more. And then I posted this thing, it's a turtle walking thing, a turtle. And I mean, I must be the slowest, I feel like swear, but I must be the slowest learner out there because I didn't start reading anything like this until like 2 years ago. Like I wasn't goal oriented for a long time, I just knew that like I wouldn't be able to buy a house with this current job. I'd look around and I'd see the people that I was working with, and I'd be like, man, staring at the ocean for 8 hours a day, you know, these guys are just mind dead. Like everybody is just kind of like going nowhere. Nobody had no. It just seemed like not nobody. It's an overgeneralization maybe, but it just seemed as though a lot of the guys weren't like, there was no direction. They didn't set course for anything, and so I felt like back then I was like, man, surely I must have been put on this earth for some other reason. So then I started another job, you know, that I thought would be more skilled, that maybe I'd make more money, that maybe I'd have a little bit more respect when I talked about my work, you know. And then there was like, okay, yeah, there's a lot more training and it was a lot more specialized. But even then, I looked around after about 5 years. I'm like, man, these guys have houses, like they have a house for their families and stuff. But we're all working like 3 or 4 or 5 days a week overtime.
Yeah.
You know? And the more we made overtime, the more we got taxed. So it was just like, gosh, I don't think I can do this. I mean, as much as I love the job, I didn't feel I could do it for the next 30 years. And there was guys retiring that like, gosh, how are they going to make it? You know? And now when I look back at it, I think that, and I hope they're fine. So then I got into something else where there was a lot of money and I was able to get stuff and it was cool to talk about it and I was more free, but at the same time, it was susceptible to market conditions. And if the market crashed, it got wiped out. And that's exactly what happened. And so when I look back on like how I got into like setting goals and using a planner, those were all like setting a goal. I probably didn't think about till I was in my 30s. Having a planner, not until I was in my late 30s, you know? And then it was like, okay, so I have these little goals and these planners and stuff, but I really didn't do anything. So up until the point where I actually started doing Herbalife, I never really saw the potential of helping people and how that can manifest into the type of lifestyle and legacy and freedom and great health and everything else. So I'm kind of getting long with you guys, but at first, so getting back to the basis of this, what I was saying, the target. People gotta have a target. They gotta have some kind of course. Otherwise, it's like, what's next? I don't care who you are. If you don't have a target, even if it's a baby one, like I'm gonna go step outside the door today, you go nowhere.
Yep. And you find that, and I think it's true in saying this, right? So correct me if you think I'm wrong, but if we don't have a target, it's so easy to get blown and swept by the wind in anything, and then really just totally blown off course.
I mean, we've had our challenges with alcohol and substance and everything else, you know. That's where that shit gets in, at least in my experience.
Yeah.
Yep. So sorry, go ahead.
No. And so for me, that's where I lost like probably a decade. Yeah.
So I remember I have a really good friend. He was a college buddy of mine, and we grew up in college together, went into our careers together, and I remember him we talked about this once, like 9 times out of 10, there's something that triggers a lot of that distraction that blows us off course, where we start filling that void. And it's like we basically go like super deep into whatever that is, and like that's the course. Like, yep, I don't know where I've gone, but this is something that's been filling my void, filling whatever hole is in my heart or in my mind or whatever is weighing me down. But hey, for this particular moment, it's filling that need. So that's my course. And then we find that you go 0 to 100 right into a wall, and then you have a wake up point.
And it could just start out as a fun thing to do.
Yep. It was just that, just tonight. I'm sure we all remember this. For the boys, come on, just one night. We're going to forget.
For the boys. That's awesome. That's so funny.
Or one of the other ones that I hear on the opposing side is, come on, we're gonna have a girl there. We're not gonna think about anything. It's just like, okay, I feel you. But then we
Yeah.
find
That's so
that
true.
that
It was
starts the roll, right? Go ahead, Kali. Sorry.
no, that's really what it is. It was funny because I was talking to my godmother who lives here, and she was like, what are you trying to do while you're out here? And I was like naming all my goals, and she was like, that's like straight to X, Y, and Z. So what's A, B, and C? And I was like, oh,
Nice.
my bad. You know, like I had to think like, oh, damn, you're right. Like it is, because that's really like, it's awesome. It's awesome that we think X, Y, and Z and like our target and hit hard up top. But to actually put it into actions and take the baby steps to get there, most times we ain't really thinking about that. At least for me, for sure. You know, like I tell you straight, getting it right then and there. You know, but yeah, that's really what 10x is to me. Like taking the baby steps and putting 10 times the effort to get to it. You know, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. And also to like the goal is never the problem. It's always our actions to actually do it and get it done. So
Yep.
yeah, my Nina, she put it to me like straight in the butt, and I was like, ow, sorry.
It's nice though. At least
it's like it's a really solid hit too, right? Because that's what happens a lot of the time, right? We're so focused on what the destination is that we forget to calculate what it's going to take to get there, which is exactly what the chapter talks about, right? You forget that, okay, it's whatever we do consistently from now till then that gets us there. So if I'm consistently, just driving towards a wall at 100 miles an hour, I know for darn sure I'm going to hit that wall. But if I'm not focused on it, I could very well get swiped by another car, swiped by a train, whatever, right? And then I'm blown off course.
Yeah.
And now that's one massive extreme on the negative end of it, right? But if you look at the opposing end, where it's like, let's talk about setting a financial target, right? So some people come in and they come out, they're like, well, I just know if I get $100,000 in my name, I'm golden. That's exactly what I need. But then they forget that they got to learn how to save 1,000 first. They got to make 1,000 first, and then they got to double that. And they got to learn how to double that. And they got to keep building and making those small blocks to get there. So that way they start feeling good and confident along the way. So
and then it's like, what is the money going to go for? What are you going to use that for?
Exactly.
It's worthless if it's not going to be used for anything.
Or if you're wasting it and using it. Right.
For a rainy day. So, like what you guys are saying, man, it's like the consistency of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And if the person wants to go 10x with it, then 10x the consistency of that thing.
Yep.
Right.
So, Eva, I like that you're tugging on that thread. It sounds like, like for some people, 10x is the way to go, right? And for others, it would be, well, that's not my level where I'm at, or that's not where I'm feeling right now. So right now we're talking about what the long shot is, what it really takes and what it means to hit 10x, right? But so what would we say to someone who's starting out? Either they're not feeling like they want to go into some multiple of 10, or they're like, yeah, I'm kind of slow rolling this right now. I'm just trying to test the waters and feel it out, or I'm happy where I'm at in life. What would we say to that?
Well, I would say like what's gonna make you happier? Is there anything more to life to it? Or is this the end? I mean, if it's the end, then just fucking blow yourself away. If that's what it is,
Yep.
Surely we all must be placed where nothing is by coincidence.
Yeah.
We're all here for a reason, and I don't mean to preach. It's just I just feel like we're divine, and we're all here for a reason. And surely it's not to just play video games and sit down and eat piece of peanuts all day. You know what I mean? There's something bigger, and it's up to the person to get in touch with whatever their belief system is, to realize what that is. So if there's nothing, then I think that person has to have a discussion with themselves and with their higher power or God or whatever, and ask themselves what's next, because being stagnant leads down the rabbit hole to something else.
Yeah. So, and yeah, speaking from experience from that, I find that just in, you know, my personal venture, and happy to hear everybody else's experiences too. But, you know, I feel like when I'm stagnant, that's where I'm the most discontent. Like if I got nothing going, and if there's not something that's like moving up in one area of my life or another, I feel like I'm not living up to my potential. I feel like I'm not fulfilling what, you know, like how you said, what we're destined to be here for, you know. And just like you know, not one for destiny, not one for, you know, divine intention or anything, but, you know, it's just the reality. Like I feel like we were all put here for a reason, and we weren't meant to just settle for what's under the bar. We have something that elevates the bar and takes us to where we need to be and what we can offer somebody else in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think, like, sorry, go ahead, Howard. Go ahead.
Oh, what I was gonna say is, even if it's like you not just trying to be stagnant, you just going at your own pace, progress is progress, man. And when you make that change to switch it up or to do more and want more, it'll come. Like Evan, you're a perfect example of this. You know, you've been with Herbalife 19 years now. It took you 10 to actually get serious into the business and like start it up. You know, we all take our time, and when things are ready, things are ready. We push through and we get it. You know, progress is progress. But how far you're willing to go to get to where you really want to be, that should definitely be, you know, what your progress, or how your progression, how aggressive your progression is, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This book is designed for the people that have a target or that want to like go full on
hard.
10x hard. But I think that there's other lessons in here that a lot of people can relate to.
Yep.
You know? And yeah, I think it speaks to many different, the whole spectrum of people. But Wayne, I want to hear from you, man. Like say what you think of this book so far inside of this, because
yeah, man,
you're pretty stoked where you are right now, and so this is a good discussion.
Yeah, so I do agree that the concept definitely, like, to reach a certain level, yeah, so there's nothing wrong with achieving that level. You know, it's just not what, I don't have that dream of achieving, you know, like, I don't know, like, I used to have that. I mean, that's what I thought happiness was, you know, where I wanted to, like I said, to reach that, I wanted everyone to know my name. You know, everyone know my name as the best, #1 guitar player, winning awards, all that stuff. So that doesn't even appeal to me anymore. It doesn't at all. I still love helping people. That's why Herbalife, I love Herbalife. We help people. As far as happiness, though, I'm happy right now. I'm happy. I'm happy that I have the clients I have right now. You know, I want to help more people, obviously. But as far as like that 10x, so I don't know what my speed is. But there are some days where I feel I'm 10x. There are some days, you know, where when I used to go to like Cocoa Head Hike or Ala Moana, I'd be walking around, and it just, I wish you guys saw me on video because I would go straight to the person. And I was on, I just talked to him. Hey, how you doing? You ever go to Herbalife? You ever whatever. And then I was like, I really had that passion. I still do. I just don't have, I don't know. You guys tell me. Because if I was allowed to go there again tomorrow, I'll probably do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You ever feel like a pendulum effect? Like on one end of the pendulum,
Yes.
it's like you're like doing nothing, and on the other side, it's like level 10, and in the middle, you're kind of like balanced. I think we have talked about this before, where like sometimes I'll go full on and then be like rah, like going right here, like working my hardest, doing everything I think is the right thing to do, and then I can't really sustain that for like a long period of time. Like I start burning. So then the pendulum starts swinging. And then I see results from that. So I'm stoked. And then it hits the balancing point. But then because of the results, it carries right over into, okay, I'm not going to do anything. Because in this business, we get paid royalties. And we get other means.
Right.
So we're not really having to work. So it goes boom, maximum effort. And then it's like nothing for months. And then it's like, shit, I got to start doing something. Like, this sucks. I feel shitty. And then I start like trying to figure it out again. So I've had that many, many times, that swing. And now what I'm kind of learning is that it's not about the swing. It's about like, so we've been doing some yoga. And when we hold these postures, they're like for a minute long, sometimes 30 seconds. You bend, it's all about the foundation and alignment and being good, breathing, and then you start, I'm using my hand as like a body. So then you start bending, so you take a breath, you set, you're aligned, and then you start going into your stretch, right? You're not like this right away, you're here, and you're hanging out there for a while. And then like in the last 10 seconds, then you go like this. And then you reset. Set, breathe, and then you do the other side. Where you can hang and then go a little bit more and then reset. So you're never like completely smoked.
Yeah.
And then we're into the next thing, So I've been learning that. So I don't know if that really, I don't know if that helps at all, Ray, but
No, it really does. It I think it's perfect. Like to add to that, with each bend and each time we do it, we try to get deeper and deeper into it, So yeah, for sure.
and it's our own limitations and body awareness, our own awareness.
And it's cool because we find that as we become more aware, we're able to stretch a little further, reach a little more, because now we're like, oh, hey, I've got some consistency, I've got some momentum building, I'm feeling good. And then you're able to do more, which we find it's like, I think anybody, or, not to generalize, right? But many would consider that we found the sweet spot. We found our rhythm.
Yeah.
So for everybody, that rhythm will be different, right? So, so that's one end of the spectrum, right? Where, we have someone that's content, they're flowing, but tying into what he was saying was, what I got from it was, it sounds like when he's doing something that's fun, that's exciting to him, that he's passionate about doing, which sounds like, I love being in front of people. Like in front of people like this is always incredible. On a video call is always incredible. But there's just so much more emotion and like connection felt when you're face to face with somebody. And whatever that connection is, right? That person could be like the most standoffish person, you're gonna feel that. But that person could also be the most warm person that you've ever met, and you're gonna feel that too. And it sounds like, and Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong, I just feel like I'm tugging on a thread here, but I feel like that's the draw for Wayne. That's the excitement. I like to make people feel good because it makes me feel good in the end, especially if I'm able to walk away knowing that I helped them in some way, shape, or form. Do I have that right?
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for clarifying. I didn't want to shoot myself in the foot there.
No, yeah.
So and then you have
Wayne,
the other end of the
I
spectrum,
feel like
right,
that
where
from
there's
Wayne, man.
Yep, for sure. I always get that feeling from him when I see him. So that's why I'm tugging on it.
Right.
So the other side of it is, right, so you have the people that are content and they like being passionate face to face with people like Wayne, right? But then you have the other people that like, and I'm going to go here with it. They don't care what it is that they're doing. They know they've got a target, but maybe mapping out the plan and all the expectations hasn't fallen into alignment, right? So Evan talked about alignment, talked about awareness, right? So we're aware of what we want, but we're not in alignment with what it's going to take, right? So one of the things in the chapter talks about is, you know, being properly prepared. And then it's like, hey, so if we're not properly prepared, one of the given obstacles is going to be, we may not hit our target, you know. Like we may chunk it out. Like, okay, my 1 year target is this. My 3 year target is this. We always hear about people saying 5 year, 10 year, 15 year plan. But then they chunk it out into months. What do I do per month? What do I do per week? What do I do per day? And then when they find that they start falling short, what are some, and I'll just say it. So some of the things that they do is they start coming up with like concessions, right? And I talked about this last week on the call, where they start making compromises going, well, I didn't hit it today. And then they're at a crossroads. So you got a fork in the road. They're like, well, on this fork, I can push it harder tomorrow and I can go and get it. And I can catch up, which then they look at the other side. It's like, well, maybe not. I'll just concede this month, and, you know, I'll just do the best that I can, right? So what are some things that you've experienced where you've walked down that fork in the road, where you've had to make that decision, and what was your outcome?
Well, do I
For me?
eat or not?
Oh.
Do I eat or do I not eat? It came down to that. Do I keep my house or do I lose my house? So I don't, you know, it's like, it got to a point where I was so deep in debt that they were gonna foreclose. And I mean, I scrounged every cent in my car just to kind of give the bank something, in my couch, all my little freaking coin things in the house, you know, until the point where it was like I had nothing. And that's what it took for me to like, I think for me anyway, when I get to the bottom, there's nowhere else to look but up. So there's no other choice. That's what happened for me. And you know, some people it doesn't take that much, but like I said, I probably am one of the hardest headed, slowest learners out there, it seems, you know, but I'm happy. I'm happy too, you know, I'm happy for everything that happens. It's good.
I feel you, man. It's taken a lot of really hard-earned lessons for me to start really looking at things going, I'm tired of learning things the hard way, always banging my head against the wall. And, you know, it's because of those situations that I've had too, where I've hit rock bottom. So I guess we are going to go here. I might get a little vulnerable tonight. So
I think we all might get vulnerable tonight.
Okay,
right?
good.
Let's
So
go.
there's two significant periods in my life that I can think of where I have been at my lowest. The first and probably the most critical one was, you know, losing my dad when I was a senior in high school. You know, so a little back history there. Me and him, super tight relationship growing up. He was always getting me involved with everything, always helping me to develop, always talking about life, leadership. Little did I know he was an aspiring entrepreneur as well. I never knew this until after he passed. So that was kind of exciting to see. But you know, he taught me all of these things, and like the thing that made us connect and really get close was surfing. So we had some periods of time where there was like a falling out, because I was a knucklehead going through, you know, all the roller coasters of life and relationships, and thinking that I knew better. So we bump heads every now and again. And when we started bringing things on the mend, I ended up having him cut out from under me in the blink of an eye. I remember one conversation very specifically a month before he passed. He couldn't sleep, and I always feel that nothing ever happens for no reason, but he couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. We ended up sitting and talking for a while, and he just ended up telling me, he goes, hey, there's going to come a point in time where I'm not going to be here, and you're going to have to step up and be the man in this house. You're going to have to hold it together for your mom, your sisters, and really be the glue for the family. And then he really started walking down the line saying how everybody would respond. And that was, oh crap, that was a week after my 18th birthday. So
Wow.
we had that conversation, and I sat there and I just went, wow. I was like, I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Sorry, I got a truck racer in the background. But I didn't know where it was coming from, and I just I was a little dismissive about it. And I just told him, I was like, I just turned 18. I'm graduating this year. I'm still trying to figure out the things that I want to do in my life. I don't know when I'm going to be ready to fill those shoes, but the best that I can tell you is that I'm going to do my best. That's the best that I can tell you. And then no sooner than a month later, taken away, a day before I think his 49th birthday. And he ended up, I was supposed to be with him that day. And it's funny how Ryan's on the call, because he used to work at Zippy's. I was working at Zippy's at the time, and I was supposed to be with him that day, but I got called into work. And he was like, nah, do your thing. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. And then I get pulled out of work because my sister shows up at my job bawling, and she's like, pack your stuff. We got to go. And she wouldn't tell me what was going on until we got to the hospital. And I'm over there like, why the hell are we in a hospital? And then she tells me what happened, and like the switch just went off. So, all that being said, that was probably the most significant hardship that I faced. And I hit a really, really bad low. And, I know that, struggling with alcoholism, like, Wayne, I hear you, man, that's a significant pain point, and it's a hard thing to go through. And I just remember going through that. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was in a state of depression. There was multiple times where I ended up actually contemplating suicide, and it was just a position that I really just didn't want to be in. And looking back on it today, I'm just ever so grateful that I never did decide to go to that extreme, because just like how we were talking about, I was finding something to try and fill a void at the time because I was just hurting. And, I went 10x into the negative. I was drinking, I was partying, I was contemplating things like that. And then I get dealt my second whammy. I find out that I'm going to be a dad. I know I'm not prepared. I'm in a relationship that was going nowhere. We were both toxic for each other. And, I just didn't know where that was going. So, long story short there, ended up suffering a breakup. And, it was a real hard reality check for me to face, because I was brought up with this understanding where it's like, hey, you go and have a kid, then, you better own that responsibility, keep your family together, do whatever it takes to take care of that family. And, that's what I was trying to do. But that never happened. And, my world was just shook. So here I am. If you can imagine, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I'm going to be a dad. I lost my dad. I haven't dealt with that yet, but I'm expecting here to be a dad. I'm not where I need to be in my life. I can't even keep myself afloat. I can't take care of myself. And I had a few conversations with some people that were very pivotal people in my life at the time. And, it was my boxing coach. It was my dad's best friend from high school. And it was my mom. And they just gave me such a hard reality check that, I ended up going, I got to do this. I got to do this. And I had to chase whatever that goal was. So full pendulum swing, like how you're saying, you're at the lowest of lows, still gripping whatever that reality is. But all of a sudden I swung the pendulum the other way, and I went, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of feeling, like I can't manage this depression that I'm going through. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not going to own up to shit and not know where I'm going in life. And I swung it the other way, and I just went, there's my target. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get there. I didn't calculate, everything that it was going to take to get there. I just knew in my mind, this is going to be really, really hard. And it caused me to just cut people out of my life at the time just to get there, which, looking back on it, it's probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And, it throughout that whole thing, there's always that constant monkey on my back of, the suicide thoughts. And I never knew that depression was something that ran in my family until recently. And I never knew thoughts like that was something that ran in my family until recently. So, and now that I know that, it was like, okay, at least now I know where that came from. And I wish I would have knew it then, because maybe I would have handled it differently. Maybe not. But talking about, not making concessions for myself, it was, hey, do or die. I'm at the lowest of lows. Get it done. So, yeah, thanks for sharing, Evan.
It's weird how, like, yeah, thank you, man. It's interesting how
Yeah,
we find solutions, and we may not even know the in between, the ABCs or whatever. But just taking movement, doors start opening, options start opening up, and then we can find some direction. But I think a lot of people, they don't even have the first target. They're not willing to even take the first shot, and that's where the depression and I'm no clinical psychologist or anything, but it's just the lack of movement, the stagnicity. That's the killer, man. Is that a word, stagnicity? I don't know.
We get creative tonight. But yeah, no, I hear you, man. So yeah. Anyways, I didn't mean to let that go on for so long. Wow.
no, it's good. Real. No worries.
Sounds like you
Life.
got something
Life,
to share,
man.
Ryan. No worries. Hey, it's solid, man. But yeah, so
We still on
that-
we still on bottom. We still on hitting the bottom.
yeah, so like finding things that derailed our
Are we still on
efforts,
hitting the bottom?
distracted
Oh, okay.
us, and yeah, go ahead.
Shoots. So I, like you, lost my father when I was young. I was 13 in the 8th grade. And that was like one of my lowest points because he was my man. I was the oldest. I was his little boy that he, after he passed, all my goals that, having as a kid went to shit. I went 10 times the wrong way, like you said, So, everybody's getting vulnerable tonight. I like it. Yeah. So I started, drinking and using substances of that sort. And yeah, it was horrible, man. I came back from the best trip of my life, and we found out that he had colon cancer, and we lost him. I mean, luckily it wasn't as early as it was supposed to be. He actually like manned up and freaking, we had him for a few more years. But I think that was definitely where, for me, like, college went out, doing good in school went out. I really did turn to like the wrong group. And I think what got me out of it is my little sister. She saw that I was making all these conscious but stupid decisions, and she really had to tell me, like, what are you doing? Like, hello, I'm right here. Me, I'm the one.
Is that Noe?
about a week before. Yes. Yes.
Sounds like her. What
So
are you
about a
doing?
week before, she actually like, yeah, yep, telling me like, hello, I'm right here. Like, dad's in me. Look at me. You see him. And it's funny because a week before, she actually came to me and had that conversation with me. It was my second time in attempting suicide, second time. And yeah, it was crazy. And because of her sunshining, glowing self, um, I was in survival mode. I got a job and I was putting food on the table, man. Making sure that she ate, making sure that she went to school, and it was really my wake up call and my like, okay, shoot, Kali, like you may not be a man, but you gonna be a man. So that's really what it was, man. I started working at 16 and never did stop. And she got me out of it. You know, she still is that person, one of my pillars. And yeah. And then I think my second whammy was to move to California or to not. You know? Yeah. About a year ago we found out that we were about to lose this house that we're living in. And I opened up an account, gave my mom $5,000 and said, fuck it, put it to the house and fucking I'll see you in a year. And realistically, I didn't want to come out here because Hawaii is home, but my sister guys moved out here, uprooted their whole lives. And I mean, who's the man if I'm not here, you know? Like, yeah, yes, we do have my sister's other half, and he is a man, no doubt, great father. But it's not his responsibility to bring us out of what he needs to do. So I made the move. I used all my money to get here and when I got here to do what I had to. And it came at a perfect time, like me locking in to being an entrepreneur, perfect time. I mean, I may not be making the money that I was back home right now, but this is just the beginning. And yeah, I'm stoked. As much as I didn't, I'm happy I made it. I'm happy I came, because a family that prays together stays together. So that's what I'm here to do, man. Gotta do what we gotta do. And I can honestly say that I think if I didn't come here, I wouldn't be pushing to be an entrepreneur. I'd be on survival mode. I ain't never gonna be in survival mode.
So that's real powerful. Hey, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable, Kali. That's super, super cool. And I just want to ask a quick question, because I mean, for everybody that's going to end up seeing this, right? It's like, they may be sitting there with everything that's going on, kind of running through some of the same thoughts and same emotions that we're feeling, but just in their own way, right? So just a quick show of hands, like how many of you guys have like felt like you were sitting there in that rut, in that struggle, in that survival mode? Because I know I've been there. I know for damn sure I've been there.
Why don't we show fingers for how many times too?
Right?
I say the last 29 years.
Let me show the code.
Yeah, Bree, you got a powerful story there too, right? So, and thanks for chiming in. So, feel free to share if you're open to it. If not, then we can always save it for another day. Yeah. So, yeah, totally safe zone. And just for everybody that's listening, just know that throughout everything that we're talking about, nobody's pitching business. We're really just sharing love, sharing life here, sharing experience, and this vulnerability that we're so willing to just expose each other to and expose you to is, just in the hopes that it adds some value and adds some reinforcement in your life, that everybody goes through some things. And in relation to this book, we find that it's because of some of those things that are sitting at our core, where we've found that we've kind of played this like back and forth game with ourselves, and we've kind of sold ourselves short just because we're like, hey, I gotta manage whatever I'm dealing with. I don't know how to deal with what I'm dealing with. But what's powerful and what's inspiring about it is that, the people that never give up, the people that continuously to like take a step forward, like how Evan was saying, like just to step out the door, that's a decision. And that makes all the difference in the world, is a decision in a split-second moment. Evan, you look
the famous Jim Rohn, right? For things to change, you have to change.
Yeah.
You have to make different decisions. You have to take different courses. You don't, you'll just be the same. So what's the next?
Absolutely. Yep. And it's funny that you say that too, right? Because, with things changing and with you in that moment of decision, right? Jim Rohn has another saying about that, where it's like, you might not be able to control the wind, but you can control which direction your sail faces. You can change the direction of your sail in a moment's notice, but that may not mean that you're going to be at your destination overnight. It just means, well, we're gonna make this decision. We're gonna start going down this road. We're gonna move away from where we're at.
Yeah, and it can just be just a degree of change that affects the whole trajectory of life. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm glad that I could do it with all you guys, man. That's the best part.
Same.
That we have
Same.
And we're not alone. We can do this thing and grow together, and that's the best part.
Yep. And I think it's great. I think it's great because, I think everybody that's kind of gone through something, and, I see some people that, they're feeling a little heavy-hearted. They're feeling a little bit of weight in this conversation. So it's like, the one thing that I love about this group is that no matter what, no matter whatever stage we've been in life, and we've shared a few of them, we've always been there kind of holding each other up, going, hey, it's good. Wherever you're at, it's good. Do your thing, handle what you got to, but it's good. We're here. We're not going to let you fall. You're going to just pick it up. If you take our hand, let's go. We'll go up together. And that's been one of the biggest blessings that I found, just getting engaged in this group. And, I've been a part of this group now, Evan, what is it now? Like almost 3 years? A little over 3 years? Yeah.
About 3 years.
Yeah. And I was I just remember being a completely different person before I came here. Me and Bree could rap about this all day. Our relationship was on the brink of extinction multiple times throughout that. And, if it wasn't for engaging with this group, if it wasn't for that shift in my mindset and just, really focusing on the personal development aspect, which, I love sharing this book and, this value and this vulnerability with people, we wouldn't be together, I'm sure, and I'd probably be in a much darker place. And, I just remember, you guys and, the business opportunity and venture that we're on together coming in at right in the nick of time, really.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah. And it's funny how things work out that way, right? Yeah. So super, super cool. So we're getting on about an hour and 10 minutes now. So one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting was when we set those targets and we start looking up, right? Or, like how in my moment of darkness, I just went, I know I need to be there. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get there, but I just know I need to be there. That wasn't a position where I was super optimistic knowing that I would get there, but having an understanding that while optimism is like important to have, we have to realize along the way that it's, our continued effort, our continued consistency of bringing value to whatever it is that we're doing, that's going to be what really helps to get us through. Because having all the optimism when we're talking to someone, like I could be sitting here on a new idea and like, I'm just going to throw it out there. Hey, John, you know, like I'm going to go out, I'm going to make $100,000 by the end of the year. And they may look at me like, oh man, you know, but they don't see it, right? And the thing about it is, in anything that we're doing, it's what we got going on may not be what's there for everybody in that moment, right? What we're offering may not be what they're ready to receive, is what I'm saying. So we could go there, and we just got to keep pressing on, because we're going to have those people that just go, I don't see it, man. I've been knowing you how long? I've been knowing how you've been responding to all your issues. I don't see it. I really don't. But then you just go, hey, it's good. My message isn't for you today. You know, my message is, I'm going for this. I'm telling you because you're my friend. I'm going to get it. And then you do everything under the sun to go out there and get it. And I thought that was something that I heard in the chapter that was a nice little thread to tug on, because that mindset that I had was, you know, it was a winner's mindset, like I'm never giving up mindset. And I was going to see every action through until I completed it, no matter what. And there were many sleepless nights that went along with that. And with that, I'll open it up, and, you know, everybody can just chime in there.
Oh, it's funny that you say that. I'll tug along with you. So he even says it, you know, attack everything with a ferocious mentality of an athlete who's getting their last bite of their star time, of their prime time, you know. So, but honestly, like, change your mindset, you change your life. Like, it really is everything you think, like, it, with action, it will be, you know. It's crazy. And he also says, like, it's not enough to occupy the territory, but to keep it. That was like, oh damn, like, that hit home. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So
Solid.
Yeah, like that kind of mindset shift is huge. And I just think that like a book like this is designed for people that are ready for it. You know, like you're saying,
yeah,
they got to be ready for something like this. And granted, there's good things in all these books, but I mean, one thing that he doesn't talk too much, at least so far in this book, about is faith. And I'm not you know, not from any specific religious, you know, doctrine or whatever, but just from a faith in that things will happen for the better. That like we said, everything does happen for a reason. And as long as you're stepping towards something that's positive, that's worthwhile to you, that brings happiness, and you just keep stepping for that to create the best self you can be, things are going to open up. It's the consistency of stepping. And, you know, if you're hurting somebody, if you're hurting yourself, if you're negative, and you're consistent in that, then good luck. You know, like, there's not a lot of faith in that. You know what's going to happen too there as well. It's, somebody said something. I read it. I think it's like, I think Joe posted it. It had to do with like the thoughts of negativity and thoughts of positivity take the same amount of effort. Something to that extent, right, Joy? I don't know if you can hear me, but so to go and strive for things that are good takes as much energy to go for things that are bad. And you can go for the things that are good, that are going to bring you happiness and health and joy or whatever else that's good. Or you can choose to throw back 12 beers and go get into fights, or, you know, I was going to say a bunch of other stuff, but I won't.
but that's so true though. Like, it does take that much, the same amount of effort to grow in a positive way, which leads to success, and then the other way to wherever that may be.
Well, the
For sure.
the funny thing, and I'm going to throw a little bit of science in here because I've always heard this growing up, and I looked it up and read up on it when I was younger. So they talk about, you know, when people smile versus when they frown, right? And when they say when you frown, it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile, which would be, oh shoot, I just got distracted. Everyone's catching up. But,
Freaking mosquito.
So we find that, like, it's and what I found is our natural tendency is we want to chase positivity. We want to feel happy. We want to enjoy our life. We want to do things that make us feel good. And it's more of a deliberate decision to walk down the path of negativity, to walk down the path of hard choices that, you know, lead us spiraling into like a oh, what are those things called in the ocean? Why am I drawing a blank on this?
Water spout?
Yeah, like how you see like in Pirates of the Caribbean where it's like just spiraling and you have like center pit, right? Anyways, like that.
Oh, yeah.
Whirlpool?
What is that?
Whirlpool? No.
Whirlpool. Yeah, that's the one. So thank you. So it ends up becoming like a whirlpool, and we just start spiraling out of control, losing control of our sail, losing control of the direction of the ship, just because we're going right down to the bottom where we're just going to crash. And I find that it's more of a deliberate decision to look at that and go, hey, that whirlpool looks pretty cool. Why don't we take a dive in there and see how far down we can go? Versus, wow, look at that sunset. That's pulling me towards that sunset because that light is just so radiant and that warmth feels so good. To me, that's more of a natural pull. And I think with majority of people, that would be the natural pull.
It was for the Hawaiians. They followed the North Star right to Hawaii. There you go.
There you go.
You know that.
I wish I brought Riley in here. She would have had her Moana mask on. But yeah, so you know, so the big things that, you know, they talk about is, you know, as we shift our mindset and we shift toward that positivity, we plan and like we really just get ourselves set in those ways where, you know, success is the goal and success is what we're chasing after, whatever that means, right? Because we have talked about varying levels of success and contentment throughout the call. So whatever that means to you, it's no mystery why people that are extremely successful has a little bit of luck tied to it. And it's just because they've been consistently moving towards it, consistently taking action, where the luck kind of just inserts itself in there. Where it's like, hey, well, you wanted it that bad. Let me get the hell out your way so you can get it. Which goes back to the rules of law of attraction. If you think it, you project it, and you say it, you write it down, you do all the things to make it a reality, and then you move with intention towards it. Success is just a byproduct of the action that you take. So that's ultimately what I got out of it. So yes, understanding why people fail, the concessions that they make for themselves, but also understanding that if you just shift your mindset and you know that, hey, no matter what, I'm going for this, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Matter of time. So with that being said, I think that's our time. We're almost done for the evening. Is there anybody that wants to have any closing comments before we go ahead and sign off for the night?
Hey man, I was gonna say, whoever's been
Whatever
hanging
you
in
start,
here,
finish till the end.
whoever's hung in this long with us, love you and appreciate your support. Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
Fans are awesome. For real.
Anytime.
Fans are awesome. For real.
All right. Well, if nobody else has anything that they want to chime in, we're going to go ahead and sign off this evening. You all have a beautiful Monday evening. We will see you next week as we dive into chapter 3. And let me just look at what chapter 3 was about real quick. Because that one I remember being pretty exciting. Okay, so let's talk about next week why success is important. So we've gone into what the 10X rule is. We understand why it's vital to use the 10X rule or some variant that makes sense for you. And then now we're going to talk about why success is important and why we need to strive for that in our lives and what that means to us. You might have heard a little bit on the call tonight. So if you didn't, try to see if you can find it and, you know, generate some questions for us next week. We'd be excited to answer them. So all that being said, have a beautiful night. God bless, and we will see you guys later.
Aloha.
Yes.
Bye.
Awesome, guys.